Market. Experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman. Your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day, celebrating 10 years of opening doors to brighter futures. Visit dormanday.ky.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. How y'all doing today? It is a beautiful Thursday, not as windy or as overcast as the other days, so I hope the rest of the day looks exactly as it is this morning. And I hope you're enjoying a nice, easy ride into work today. And if you're riding one of those e-bikes, one of those scooters, or a motorized pedal bike, something like that, well, guess what? It's one of your last free days to be riding dirty, I guess you can say, you know. It's not really riding dirty, but after March 1st, it will be considered riding dirty. So you have your last days of pretty much riding freely without being caught and not having your motorized device registered or licensed or insured. And these laws have already been in place. So this is not a new law, but it's being enforced, heavily enforced, come March 1st, which is Sunday, I believe. Sunday, March 1st. So I think it's Sunday. Geez, I really hope it is. Yes. All right. So that is what we were talking about this morning a little bit, about the micro mobility device and the enforcement or the enhanced enforcement on the law on micro mobility devices. So those are e-bikes, scooters, segways, throttle bikes, motorized bicycles. And that absolutely includes a lot of those vehicles that you're seeing all over. It's not a vehicle, sorry. You're seeing them all over. We're seeing them in residential communities, all over West Bay Road. We're seeing them on the highways. We're seeing a lot of erratic riding, and it's it makes driving challenging, a lot more challenging. So that's what we are talking about this morning. I was supposed to have Minister Jay Ebanks on with me, Minister for Plahy Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, but he got called into something very urgently as well that has to do with this topic this morning. So unfortunately, and I just found that out 5 minutes ago, guys. So unfortunately, he's not going to be with us. In saying that, I prepared for the minister. So I spent a few hours last night preparing for this topic, and I did not prepare for the event that the minister might not show up. So in saying that, I welcome your calls, because otherwise you're just going to hear me rambling. And, we don't want to hear me rambling, right? The numbers to call are 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp call or WhatsApp message us at 925-3261. So we're going to do open line. If nobody wants to chat with me this morning, then we're going to end the show early. So I hope you call and tell me what's on your mind. Let me know what you think about these enhanced or enforced laws happening for the micromobility devices. So as I mentioned, they are not new laws. They are existing requirements under the Traffic Act 2023 revision. So if your device is mechanically propelled and operated on a public road, it is treated as a motor vehicle. That means you must be 17 years old. You must have a Category 0 or 2 license. It must be insured. It must be registered. It must be roadworthy. You cannot ride on sidewalks. You cannot go against traffic. I hope this also means they can't be using the crosswalks, because I can't use a crosswalk with my car, so why can you use a crosswalk with your motorized little pedal bike and all the rest? I don't get it, because they be driving me nuts. No, I don't think they need. I think they need to use the road just like everybody else needs to use the road at that point. So from March 1st, police will be enforcing this. And And we have seen an explosion in micromobility in Cayman over the past few years. There has been also rising car costs, rising fuel prices. There's been a whole lot more traffic congestion. Young people need transportation, tourism workers, delivery drivers, students, low-income earners. Our public transportation system isn't the most reliable or accurate and just kind of goes when it wants to go and how it wants to go. And if the bus is full, the bus is full. And you must wait for the next one whenever that decides to come. So what is kind of cool about our public transportation system right now is if you do have a bus driver's number, he'll come and call, and you call him and he'll come and pick you up. So I kind of like that too. You can have an in, you can have your bus plug, and that, that'll work for you. But we've seen a whole lot of accidents with these micromobility devices. We've seen so many riders without helmets, and I get it. I understand that free feeling of riding and just that wind in your hair, that just feeling of freedom, but you're going fast. You're going against other vehicles that are going a lot faster than you, probably at least double your speed. So you want to wear a helmet. You want to be careful. These devices are moving at pretty high speeds, and we even have pedestrians feeling unsafe. So my question for you, is this enforcement fair? Do you think Cayman really needs this enforcement? It's already law. It's been law since at least 2023 in the Traffic Act revision. So is this enforcement fair? Is it really needed? Why are we putting such an emphasis on it before? Are we ready for micromobility? Or are we regulating it like we're regulating cars and the regular vehicles, standard vehicles? So I want to know, are you compliant? Do you have one of these devices? Will you be compliant? Is it terrible for me to say I don't think I would be compliant? I mean, you got to catch me if you can. Is that terrible to say? It's probably terrible to say, but it's the truth. I probably wouldn't be compliant if I had one of those. Do you have one of those devices? Is this good governance, or is it overreach? Are we doing a little too much? How is it affecting your cost of living? Let's think about that, because now you have to insure these devices. You have to register them. You have to make sure that they're roadworthy. You have to have a driver's license for them. Maybe you always needed one, but I mean, it's so easy just to have somebody buy one for you and boom, you're riding it around because cops weren't really stopping you on these devices. So the devices captured under the law include electric throttle bikes, pedal assist bikes, e-scooters, mopeds, segways, and motorized wave boards. I don't know what that is, a motorized wave board. Is that the motorized kind of like skateboard? Which I'm an old school skater here, so us skateboarders are really looking at you a little funny if you're riding around on a motorized skateboard. We are very much looking at you very funny. You might as well just be on a scooter. That's how we feel. So yes, that's me saying that we also look at scooter riders strangely. So if this is mechanically propelled and used on public roads, it's treated as a motor vehicle. And that is the bottom line here. If it is mechanically propelled and used on public roads, it's treated as a motor vehicle. So, how are other small islands handling micromobility? That's something I'd like to know. And then bigger nations, because it's not a new thing. So I did a tiny bit of research for that, and what I saw was in Bermuda, they do have e-bikes and scooters, but registration and licensing is required. Insurance is mandatory. Helmet use is enforced. As Bermuda does cap car ownership, I think it's is it 2 per household? I think it might be 2 per household. As they do cap car ownership in Bermuda, two-wheel mobility is very much normalized. Bermuda embraced two-wheel transport a lot earlier than we did, but they also regulated quickly and pretty strictly. So it's interesting. I've never been to Bermuda. I don't know what their infrastructure is like. So I'm curious to know, are there roads already built for bike lanes and all the rest? Do they have better infrastructure than we do? Are their roads more attractive, wider, more accessible for people on mobility devices? In the Bahamas, mopeds and scooters must be licensed and insured. I mean, that's kind of obvious for a moped, right? Enforcement has also historically been inconsistent. And there's also growing safety concerns. So they have some similar road dynamics as we do. Of course, enforcement improves after accidents spike, because once you realize there's a problem there, you might be focusing on that problem and trying to eliminate it or make the problem less. In Barbados, registration is required for these mobile devices. Helmet is mandatory. And micromobility is integrated into their transport mix. There's also strong police enforcement. That's in Barbados. So many islands are treating micromobility as motor vehicles when used on public roads. This is not unique for Cayman, but our infrastructure, our culture is very heavily car-centric. So how well can our roads adapt to welcoming so many more micro-mobility riders? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can give me a call at 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. I think right now I'm going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, there's a press release that I do want to read about this. I know that it is supposed to start March 1st, right? But I can tell you that despite the minister not coming in today, what I do understand is that not everybody might be on the same page to start on March 1st. So hopefully we'll find out more. All right, let's go to a quick commercial break right there.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
My earliest recollection when I was in high school is looking forward to Saturday mornings. Radio Cayman had my favorite show, the Top 15 Countdown. It was then hosted by Lomax Mankin and sponsored by Funky Tanks. A couple years later, I got a job there. I was able to host that same show all by myself. It would be a countdown of the 15 best-selling records on the island, one by one, till we get to the top. Those were the good old vinyl days. This is Alfred T.A. Radio Cayman. Want to wish you a happy 50th anniversary and keep on jamming till infinity and beyond.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. It is a beautiful Thursday, February 26th out there. I hope everybody's having a good day so far, a good ride into work. And if you're just joining me, you know that I am talking about the enhanced enforcement on existing micromobility laws, which begins this Sunday, March 1st. So I'm going to turn to a press release that was issued on Monday by the Ministry of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure. So the National Road Safety Committee reminds the public that enforcement of existing laws governing e-bikes, scooters, and similar micromobility devices begins on March 1st. These are existing requirements under the Traffic Act 2023 revision and related regulations. Mechanically propelled devices operated on public roads are treated as motor vehicles and must meet the same legal standards. Devices captured under the law include electric e-bikes, which are throttle controlled, pedal-assisted e-bikes, electric scooters and seated e-scooters, motor scooters and mopeds, motorized bicycles, segways and similar self-balancing devices, motorized waveboards and comparable personal transport devices. Where operated on public roads, these devices fall within the scope of the Traffic Act and traffic regulations. Drivers must observe the same rules of the road as motor vehicles and follow the same safety practices and road discipline. Under existing law, riders must be at least 17 years of age, hold a valid Category 0 or Category 2 driver's license, ensure the device is roadworthy, insured, registered, and licensed, comply with all traffic signals, road signs, and road markings, operate only where legally permitted and not on sidewalks or against the flow of traffic. Insurance coverage for compliant micromobility devices is currently available, with multiple policies already being written by Indigo Insurance and Saxon. As with all other motor vehicles, coverage is subject to the device meeting the applicable legal and roadworthiness requirements. Insurance must be in place before a device can be registered or licensed by the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing. Any device that does not meet DVDL roadworthiness standards must not be operated on public roads. Enforcement was originally scheduled for the 16th of January. The extension to the 1st of March provided additional time for owners, riders, and businesses to complete inspection, insurance, registration, and licensing requirements. From March 1st, the Royal Cayman Islands Police will commence enforcement of these existing legal obligations. As Commissioner Walton stated on the 16th of January, when announcing the revised date, quote, "Once the enhanced enforcement begins on this new date, there will be no excuses for not being compliant," end quote. Penalties may include fines, prosecution, and potential disqualification from driving. Further information on driving, registration, and compliance requirements is available from the Departments of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing. So to give you some of that, that's the end of the press release right there. Again, that came out on Monday. And to give you a little bit of info from the DVDL, I'm going to do that right now. Again, if you want to give me a call, share your thoughts. What do you think? Is this enforcement needed? Do you ride one of these? Are you going to comply? Are you compliant already? If you are compliant or you do have one of these motorized devices, how much did it cost you? Or is it going to cost you to be compliant? What kind of a dent did this do to your pocket? Especially coming right after the holidays. What did you have to do? Trust me, I had a car issue and I had to pay up for that, and that really hurt me, especially right after the holidays. So I feel for people that are just really strained right now. Give me a call, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp us on 925-3261. All it takes is for one person to call or send in a message, and then the rest of you start. I don't know why, but it's a trend. It's what happens. So, I'm welcoming your calls this time. So according to the DVDL, they have some more information on their website as well. So that their site is dvdl.gov.ky, and then you can go in there and find the information about the e-bike, scooters, and similar transport devices. So as mentioned, the types of devices that this applies to is e-bikes, electric scooters, and similar personal transport devices. So your Segways, your motorized pedal bikes, anything with a motor. Anything with a motor is going to be treated as a motor vehicle. For devices used on private property, it does not affect the users of e-bikes, scooters, and similar personal transport devices as long as they are used on private property. So I don't know who's just going to be driving around or riding around in their driveway, but I mean, you might have acres of land. Who knows? How can you identify your device's tier? So your device will be placed into one of 3 tiers based on the DVDL inspection requirements. Tier 1 can be inspected using existing procedures. Tier 2 cannot be inspected using existing procedures. This means it would require manufacturer specifications and the use of approved additional criteria. I don't know what that means. The 3rd tier needs to be inspected using existing procedures, manufacturer specifications, and approved additional criteria. The additional criteria the DVDL will use to evaluate this is the additional criteria the DVDL will use to evaluate the following aspects of the device: the frame and deck, the steering assembly, wheels and brakes, electrical and control systems, safety and stability. So if you need advice on identifying what tier your device falls into, you can contact the DVDL by emailing dvdl.helpdesk@gov.ky or call them at 945-8344. Again, that's 945-8344. Does this apply to privately owned devices as well as rentals? Yes. The legal requirement applies regardless of whether device is privately owned or rented. If it's privately owned and used on private property, you don't have to license it or insure it. But if you're going to be using it outside of your private property, you do have to license it. And of course, guys, if it's going to be rented, it has to go through all the same regulations here. Like, why wouldn't it? Hello. I guess it's a question that gets asked. So the DVDL have included it in their frequently asked questions for this. So for licensing, age, and compliance, how old do you have to be to ride an e-bike or scooter on the road? You have to be at least 17 years old. Do you need a driver's license? Yes, absolutely. Riders must hold a valid Category 0 or Category 2 driver's license. Does the device need to be registered and insured? Yes, I just said it. E-bikes and scooters used on public roads must be registered, licensed, and insured. Remember, though, if it's being used on your private property only, it does not. And prior to registration, all devices must be insured by the owner, operator, and rider. All procedures follow the Traffic Regulations 2021 revision. I think it's supposed to be 2023, as the devices fall under the definition of vehicles. So, all devices must be insured. How much does registration and inspection cost? Now, this is the big question people have, and it's going to take me to another link that I'll go to in a minute. So after your device's tier has been decided, it will fall under either pedal cycles or motorcycles at the time of registration, and fees will be charged accordingly. Inspection fees remain consistent for both, as they will fall under motorcycles, mopeds, and scooters. So I'll get to the fee. I'll go back to the fees in a moment. So for the rules of the road, do e-bikes and scooters have to follow traffic laws? Yes. This is the whole point. This is the entire point. I can't believe that's even a frequently asked question here. Yes, riders must obey traffic signals, road signs, road markings, and all other rules of the road, particularly the road code of the Cayman Islands. I mean, what other rules of the road would there be? You have to act as a motor vehicle, meaning, from my understanding, that means you cannot use the crosswalks like a regular bike. No, you can't, because you have to act as a motorized vehicle. So I'm just going to make that point there. I'm not stopping for you guys. I'm just going to say, y'all drive me nuts as is. So, are helmets required? Absolutely. And you want to be wearing a helmet, especially with drivers like me that are out there. We might not be stopping for y'all on those crosswalks. Of course, I stop for pedestrians and people on regular bicycles. So the safety requirements apply, and all riders are expected to operate responsibly. Crash helmets must comply with these standards. Okay, these are the standards that they have for the helmets. The Economic Commission for Europe Standards, particularly ECE, whatever their standards are. It lists some figures, but I'm not going to list them because it's not going to make any difference to you. So just make sure that whatever crash helmet you're getting, it falls under the Economic Commission for Europe Standards, or ECE. You're going to have to go to the website to see what this is all about, because this is like French to me right here. But there are different standards. There's a USA standard. There's a European standard, as mentioned. There's different standards for helmets. So there's all sorts of different helmets you get. So just make sure you're getting a crash helmet and it's following at least one of these standards here. But you should go to the DVDL website or email dvdl.helpdesk@gov.ky if you want to get more information, because you want to know what tier your device falls into so you know what to pay. And then you got to know what kind of helmet to get. There's a whole lot going on here. Is this campaign about punishment or safety? It's about clarity, safety, and compliance. It's an education period, ensuring people understand the law before enforcement begins, because it's already been law. They just haven't been enforcing this law. But there's been a huge rise in the micromobility devices, a lot more accidents being caused because of these, a lot more erratic behavior on the roads because of these devices. So enforcement is needed. It already was law. As mentioned, the enforcement is supposed to be beginning March 1st. A little tiny part of me wonders if that's going to change, but I don't want to be opening up Pandora's box here. So we're still going with March 1st is when the enhancement will happen for this law. If someone does not follow these requirements, any enforcement actions as a result of persons not complying with the legal requirements will be handled in accordance with the law. This could mean a warning. It could mean penalties. Could it mean jail time? I guess we'll see. So what happens during this education period? This allows riders more time to understand the requirements and ensure they are compliant before enforcement begins. So enforcement was to begin on January 16th. But I think there was a lot of pushback. The police weren't ready. First of all, the RCIPS weren't ready to do this. Their DVDL wasn't ready. It's a whole new process for DVDL. I'm assuming there's new fees that they have to add on. I'm assuming there's different training and new policies and new procedures that the staff have to follow. So I'm assuming there was quite a big transition for the DVDL employees to go through as well. I think it's a lot of pressure to put on people in just a few weeks to get that done. That's a lot of pressure, guys. So I'm glad that we've allowed a bit more of a window here. So it was supposed to happen on the 16th of January. It is now going to be the 1st of March for the enforcement of this already existing law. I also understand at that time, I had heard that there was only one insurance company offering insurance for micromobility devices at that time, and it was Indigo Insurance. On the press release that I read after the commercial break, I did mention that, or it was mentioned that Saxon is also insuring these devices, so there's at least two mentioned, Saxon and Indigo. And I believe we did get a WhatsApp message, so I'm going to go check that out. So in bringing up the insurance companies, I'm here to say that how are people expected to get insurance when there was barely anybody insuring these devices, but then you want to enforce the law on them, but then they couldn't get the insurance, really. It was like barely available. So that's a thing. We do have a comment coming in. Good morning, Miss Miller. On Tuesday morning, okay, so we're pivoting from this topic right now. On Tuesday morning, one lady was in on the show, and she said she is a naturist and has helped people with diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides. Do you have her name and contact? I would like to get in contact with her. No, I do not have that. I can't remember if she gave it out on her own. No, she didn't. Okay, yeah. So sorry, we don't have it. Hopefully, maybe you'll know from somebody in the community. It was somebody who called in to say that. It wasn't a guest that I had on the show. I don't bring any guests like that on the show unless they are, you have a business license. So there's that to consider. Okay. Yeah, we're going to take a break right now. And then when we come back, I'm going to go find those fees for you. And then we'll go through more frequently asked questions.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Did you know that 1 in 4 persons in Cayman has been diagnosed with raised blood pressure, or that 14% of our population do not eat any fruits or vegetables, or that 70% of Cayman's adult population is overweight or obese? The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases, such as heart and lung disease in the Cayman Islands. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/STEPS.
Ready to launch your career in hospitality?
If you're an ambitious young Caymanian, the DART Hospitality Training Program is your opportunity to shine.
This paid 4-month program gives you hands-on experience at world-class properties like Kimpton Seafire, the Ritz-Carlton, Hotel Indigo, Hampton by Hilton, and Bonnie Moon Beach Club.
Plus, DART has partnered with Lynn University to deliver an intensive 2-week hospitality curriculum from an accredited institution.
Gain real-world experience, learn from the industry leaders, and open doors to full-time careers in hospitality.
Applications close April 6, 2026, with programs starting May 2026.
Apply now at dart.ky/hospitality.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I am talking about the enhanced enforcement of the micro-mobility laws, which is coming into effect on Sunday, March 1st. I said I was going to go and look for what these fees are supposed to be, so I was looking at the DVDL website, going through some of the frequently asked questions about this enforcement that's happening for the micro-mobility devices, which now requires you to have a license, a Category 0 or Category 2 driver's license. You have to be at least 17 years old. It has to be insured, roadworthy, inspected, and licensed. Yeah. So there's a lot of steps to go through now with these micro-mobility devices. So if you have an e-bike, a scooter, motorized pedal bike, a Segway, you are going to be affected by this, and this is a lot of people. So it did say for a list of fees, go here, and I clicked the link for the fees, but it just brought me to pretty much all the regular fees that they have. I don't see a category that specifically talks to e-bikes and scooters and similar personal transport devices. There's categories for personal or for a private motor car, and since it's supposed to be treated as a private motor vehicle, I looked at these fees, but I don't know if I don't know if these are applicable, for example. So it's hard to say. So it could be anywhere from $45 for 3 months up to $540 for 36 months for a vehicle not exceeding 2,500 cc or 4 seats, excluding the driver. So I don't know. I don't know if that applies to the e-bikes here. I couldn't see where the fees were obvious to me that this is for the e-bikes. So that's my one little qualm right there. All right, I'm going to go back into some of these frequently asked questions about the motorized devices, and this is coming again from the DVDL website. We were talking about enforcement and what can happen if somebody does not meet the requirements. You could be warned, you'll likely be fined, you could also do jail time if need be. And this education period that we've had from the 16th up to now is about getting people compliant. So I'd mentioned that DVDL wasn't quite ready because there was a whole lot of processes that they had to go through to train staff on, okay, you're getting a whole new category to look at now and inspect and make sure they're roadworthy. And then we're getting these devices from all over the world. So what are their standards? We have to understand what their manufacturing is. Is that in regulation with what we have? Is that up to standard with what Cayman laws have, our roadworthiness? Does everything comply? So there's a lot that DVDL has had to do as well to prepare for this. Then the insurance companies, as mentioned, at that time there was only, I thought it was one, which was Indigo Insurance. The press release that I read earlier had mentioned 2 insurance companies currently offering insurance for e-bikes or scooters or Segways. And it mentioned Saxon and Indigo. So those are at least 2 insurance companies. If you know of more, please do call. Let us know. Let us know if you know of more. So my thing was, how are you going to enforce this law when people didn't really have much of a choice of where to insure? And Indigo's only been around a couple years in Cayman, a few years, I think, in Cayman. So it's a pretty new insurance company, unless they were previously a different one and just rebranded to Indigo. I don't know, but I think they only kind of came on the scene a few years ago. I don't know anybody that's insured with Indigo, and I'm just saying that in my circles. I don't know. It's not an insurance company name that comes up. So it makes me think of people here, especially local people here, when you're thinking of the known insurance companies. And you're trying to get this done. Where were you going? What was the feedback being given to you? Were insurance providers, they didn't want to underwrite these devices? Like, why aren't more insurance companies on board? So that press release only mentioned 2. Does that lead us to thinking there are only 2 insurance providers underwriting this? Or is there more? So you can understand why we couldn't start January 16th with enforcing this law, because there was a lot of holes that still had to be filled in with this, enforcing this policy here. And then you have the people who are selling these devices. Do the retail establishments, and that's locally, who knows if somebody's ordering them in on their own. So locally, do they need to follow any new procedure? And when they're selling these devices now, are they supposed to be informing the buyer, hey, you have to get this license, blah, blah? Is that up to them to do? Then you have to look at, parents with children that have these devices for them. Are they aware? Are the younger people aware? Is this enough time of a public education campaign? And quite honestly, for me, there's been a lot going on, guys. There's been a lot going on in Cayman. You know, you have your personal life. And it's often when a topic comes up from a show, then I'll dive deep into it and try to wrap my head around it. But really, up until last night, I actually thought it was a new law that was coming into place. So when I took my time and was reading through everything, and I said, oh, it really is an existing law. And they keep harping this point that it is an existing law. That's for people like me who were just kind of like, yeah, I know it's coming. But I'm not paying a whole bunch of attention. I have a car. You know, I'm okay with it. It doesn't necessarily affect me, so I'm not paying attention to it. But that's also just a lazy way of understanding what's going on around you. And also, if it doesn't affect me, I shouldn't care. But that's also very wrong because it's going to affect everybody. You know, it's a cost of living thing. So how does it impact one's cost of living? So, you know, there's a lot of things to think about here with this enhanced enforcement of the Traffic Act here that calls to the e-bikes, the scooters, the Segways. They must be treated as regular vehicles, regular motorized vehicles, meaning you have to follow the exact laws that a regular motorized vehicle has to follow. Hence, you cannot use a crosswalk. I keep saying this and Susan keeps laughing at me. But I get it. Yeah, when I say crosswalk, I mean the pedestrian crosswalks. Yes. So is there an amnesty period for this? So it was this little education campaign from the 16th of January up to now was your amnesty period. So it will be over come March 1st. And for visitors and tourists, do these rules apply to them? Yes, absolutely. Anyone riding or renting an e-bike or scooter on public roads must comply with the law. So I would assume that because those are rented. So we already know that extends to the rental of mobile devices. That was said, why wouldn't the rental devices be included? Especially, I mean, you got to stay a lot further behind the rental vehicles where we know that. So where can people get more information on this? So info is available through government and some partner agency websites, public service centers, and campaign materials. It's not exactly listed which ones, but of course I'm looking at the DVDL website right now reading this. And Ministry of Plahi as well should have some information. There's some... There's a lot to do here. There's a lot to think about here. Is it really necessary? Does the country need this? How does it impact your cost of living? I can say for me, I think one thing we have to look at is culturally what people are doing in their countries and bringing those habits over here. And it's normal. It's normal to bring your habits everywhere. I mean, it's what you do. It's who you are. Your habits are a part of who you are. And for example, if you're coming from a huge country like India, where it's one of the biggest populations in the world, I don't know what it is, it's huge. The traffic, it's almost lawless on the road. It's there. I don't know how people do it. It's super crazy. I think I would get hypertension from road rage. End of story right there. I couldn't deal. But in India, for example, they're kind of zipping around everywhere and doing what they want to do. So what I have noticed from a certain culture of people coming here and riding these, they're used to what goes on in their country, and so they just have those same driving habits here. And for, squirrely people like me, that's like, make sure you follow the speed limit and do what you got to do and stop lollygagging on the road. They drive me nuts because all of a sudden they're just whipping past you. I've been through a four-way stop quite a few times, and you think it's your time to go, and all of a sudden one of these e-bikes fly through the four-way stop, and you're just completely stunned because you didn't see it coming from anywhere. They don't come from anywhere, but you're going to be at fault because you hit them. But you could not see them coming from anywhere. So for me, that drives me nuts. And again, it's because what they're used to doing and what's okay where they're from. And that brings the cultural intelligence kind of question for me. Is it just a normal habit for people elsewhere that are bringing this here? And how do we educate them on this is what driving is here in Cayman? Do we have to look at the international licenses, or should they actually go through a different maybe driving awareness or education campaign for themselves? I think that's something to look at. We do have to go to the 9 a.m. headline news. I'm going to end the show because y'all didn't want to call me and engage with me on this, so the show will end a little earlier. Right before the news, let me just give a really quick shout out. There's a birthday shout out that did come in. Good morning. Can you please wish my beloved son, Bravon Elliott, a happy birthday greeting, which is tomorrow, the 27th. I thank the good Lord for the man he has become, and so proud of this accomplishment. May the good Lord continue his blessing upon him. Greetings from your mom. So happy birthday, Bravon Elliott. I hope it's a fabulous one for you. Everybody have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll be back with you next week with the Ministry of Health on The Buzz on Tuesday, and our focus topic is diabetes.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And Automotive Art Cayman. Your car, our passion. And by Dorman Day. Celebrate